Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. I'm so excited as I always am. I love chatting with parents and sharing what I know. Now, if you are new to my work, please visit us at foodologyfeeding.com. And if you have no idea where to start with your picky eater, please start at thepickeaterstest.com. That's eaters with an S. And that will give you some guidance about how severe it is and kind of where to go from where you are now to get you where you want you and your child to be with food. So we have a lot of exciting changes, right? We just sent out our May newsletter. It's May 2024 when I'm recording this. It's just about to be June. And we relaunched our website. We have some new branding. We have a brand new course for parents to get in more nutrients within your picky eater's current diet. And along with that comes not one, but two books. One is a recipe book, and one is like a parent guidebook of to how to get in all the different vitamins and minerals in very creative ways specific to picky eaters and their very specific sensory challenges and stuff when it comes to food. So I have been super busy this year creating all of this content for you. But it is time to dive into summer now. And I don't know where you are in the world, but we are here in the Northeast portion of the United States. It is, we're rounding the corner into summer. And it's just about the time of year where schools are being let out, kids are home for summer. And this is a great time for a refresh if your kids are super picky eaters, or even if they're not. It's just a good time for sort of like a reset. But it's really super easy to actually fall into some bad habits during the summer that just make going back into the next school year even more challenging. So today we're going to talk about, I have for you some 3 really common summer pitfalls that happen around food and strategies on how to combat them or remediate them or, work through them, whatever. So let's dive right in. Okay, so our first one, now, you might have a really great routine already, but I remember my childhood in the summer, and it was really like, wake up whenever you want, do whatever you want, like eat whenever you want. And this like irregular mealtime thing can really get out of control, very fast. Like just within a few days of being home, I feel like you can completely derail every routine you had set in place. And that can really, it can make it really hard to get back into that. And also, of course, to develop good habits. That happens when we have boundaries and routines and things like that. So I don't want you to abandon them. They might need to shift a little bit, but it's really easy to skip meals. It's really easy to have like a sort of like a lazy breakfast or a lazy lunch or whatever. And I'm not saying that you need to put in a ton of time and effort into every meal that your child is eating this summer. I'm just saying it's so easy to just be like, oh, it's lunchtime. Oh, I forgot we were out. Oh, here's a bag of chips, right? And it's super easy to do. And I don't want you to beat yourself up if you've done that or you are doing that right now, because it's just part of life to some degree, right? So, but I do want you to maybe think a little bit more about what your days are actually looking like in the summer and how you might be able to set up a little bit more structure in terms of routine. Even if it's just a loose schedule of like, okay, well, we're definitely all going to sit down to breakfast sometime, between, I don't know, 8 and 10 or something. But like, just so you kind of have it planned, like that so you don't skip meals, so we don't get, stuck in some not so great routines. So think about that. Think about what your summer plans look like and how you can kind of schedule in some loose meal times. If you haven't already, you might have already done this, or maybe you're really great and you kind of stick with the routine you've had during the school year. I'm not sure, but just something to think about, right? Okay. So number 2, now summertime is a great time to introduce new foods and introduce new snacks, because, this is something I've talked about on previous episodes, but getting outside, kids being outside, is great, right? Because, well, for one, there's that like literal connection to the earth, right? We try to be barefoot in our backyard as much as possible to actually literally get the connection between our feet and the earth as much as we can to help regulate our systems, help relax and calm our body, and all of our different systems really benefit from that grounding practice. But also, eating outside, being with other people, going different places, they might be exposed to some new foods. It might be a great time to introduce some new foods when you're just, outside sitting by the pool, outside, playing in the sandbox or running around your yard or wherever you are. A lot of times there's really good opportunities to be outside of that sitting at the table zone of, those, we talk about those mealtime cues a lot, right? If you've not familiar with my work, definitely read my book, Mealtime Mindset. There's a whole chapter about cues and how to understand cues and how to change them from negative to positive. But if your kids are getting to this routine where they sit down at the table and they're like, they do their shtick, their own routine. I'm not going to eat this, I don't like this, or tantruming or whatever. Sometimes literally just changing that environment can be so helpful, right? Like they might actually do better outside of sitting where they normally are, or what their normal mealtime routine is when you start changing those cues. So since the weather's nice, it's great to get outside and maybe switch up your snack time routine a little bit, and trying some foods outside or having their regular snack, outside while they're playing. Now, as much as I love that, I will say that could also lead to grazing, that's our sort of our second summer pitfall. It's so easy to just leave out a bowl of food and you're playing outside and you grab a few bites and then you go back to playing, and that could happen for like hours, and before you know it, no one's really hungry afterwards because you've kind of been eating for just continuously. So that grazing actually will kill their hunger cues in their brain. They're just not going to feel as hungry or as willing to try new foods for sure when they've been grazing all day. So as much as I don't want to discourage you from getting out there, trying some new snacks and things, but, like I said about that first guideline of trying to keep it within some boundaries of like, well, okay, this is our snack time. This snack has been out for half an hour. I'm going to put it away. It's not just going to remain out for the entire day. Right. So that's like a pitfall we want to try to avoid, is that grazing. And it's so easy to do in the summer. It's so easy to just leave out even healthy snacks, leave out a bowl of fruit, a bowl of chips. And you have people, you invite friends over, you have play dates, and it's so easy to just leave foods on the table for hours and that grazing will just naturally happen for both you and your child, right? So the best thing you can do is remember, like, okay, this food's been out for like a half an hour now and it's time to put this food away. All right. Now, on the flip side of that, I do suggest, maybe as a suggestion, not just doing, putting it away after half an hour, but stocking up this summer on some healthy snacks. Because if you are going to be doing lots of snacking, maybe going to the pool, to friends' houses and things like that, it's a good time to start putting in some like healthy snack options and introducing some more healthy snack options that might turn into good snack options once the school year hits, right? So I am going to actually have an episode where I talk about my top 10 favorite nutrient dense snack options that are great for on the go. But that's I think an episode 2 or 3 weeks from now. But just think about like pre-portioned fruits or veggies, nuts, yogurt, snacks, and things like that you can just sort of have on hand that are good to take on the go, good to take outside. I love doing the smoothie pops in the summer, especially outside. And, it's, when they're in the pool or, they're not wearing as many clothes, it's so much easier to just be like, okay, like if you get a little bit messy, it's no big deal. We'll just hose you off before you come in, or we'll just take your clothes off, eat your popsicle, put the clothes back on. There's, I feel like you have like a little bit more flexibility in the summer in that respect. So those are some things maybe to think about. And okay, so my last thing is a common pitfall is lots of sugary and processed foods, right? It's so easy to reach for convenient foods during busy summer days, or if you are going on road trips, right? It's super easy to just stop and get McDonald's, stop and get Wendy's, stop and get something that maybe you wouldn't even normally be getting just because you're out of your routine. So when people are out of their routine and there is no plan, it's super easy to default to literally whatever is easiest and quickest. So just doing like a little bit of planning ahead might help you to prevent this common pitfall. But yeah, we don't want it to get out of hand. We don't want them to be, 6 popsicles deep on on a Tuesday afternoon. And then we're wondering like, oh my gosh, wait, why are they all of a sudden, gaining all this weight, or they're constantly asking me for more cookies, and like they weren't doing that before. Oh yeah, all of a sudden they decided that they were going to have all of this sugary foods, all these juices and these ice cream, right? The ice cream man comes around in our neighborhood, and it's so easy to make that a routine. We're like, oh, I heard the ice cream man, I'm gonna go get him. Right. So it's easy for adults to fall into this. So you can only imagine a child that doesn't have a fully developed brain, and it's very easy to get addicted to sugar. Just like it's easy to get addicted to smoking and drugs. It hijacks our brain. So, I wouldn't expect an adult to be able to do it. We can't expect a child to be able to self-regulate their sugar intake. So we really have to be that gatekeeper for them and put in some healthy boundaries, not saying to never allow it or to demonize it, but, just putting up some boundaries like, oh, you already actually had, a popsicle today. So maybe you could have something like that tomorrow. But like that's done for today. I always say that. Oh, we finished that for today. We can try that again tomorrow. That's one of my favorite phrases that I say at our house all the time. So, you could also try to swap out, a healthier version of it, or a healthier snack option in its place. So, for the people that are thinking to themselves, oh, but I heard I'm not supposed to tell them no because it'll cause an eating disorder. Well, one, I don't believe that is true at all. And 2, you can just swap it out or say yes to something else. Like, okay, well, this is done for today. We can't have that, but you can have this or this. You can even give 2 choices. Right. So if they want, grape juice, I would say, well, you've already had juice today. So juice is done for today, but I do have grapes or watermelon. So you're welcome to choose one of those. You haven't had that yet today. So that's sort of how I navigate that and go about, I guess regulating that sugar intake, because it sure is easy to get out of hand. I know personally for myself, it's super easy. If it was up to me, I would eat cookies and ice cream and popsicles all day long, right? So without that, without that regulation in place, and it's a very easy for it to get out of hand, I believe. Let's just do a quick recap, right? So some common summer pitfalls, we have irregular meal times, which are, when we're eating whenever, increased snack consumption and grazing, and sugary and processed food intake goes up. So some strategies to combat that, right? I said, try to maintain a schedule, even a loose schedule. Changing to healthier snacks or having pre-portioned or ready to go healthier versions of snacks, just planning ahead a little bit. And, decreasing that grazing time. So just kind of setting those boundaries and limits, like, okay, snack's been out for half an hour. It's time to put it away. Like whatever you've eaten, great. And then you could have more at the next meal. We're eating again after the pool or after, depending on your child's development. Like conceptually, it might just be like after we do this, or you could say at 5:00, right? If they understand time, you could tell them when the next meal is, but it's okay to give them a break from food in between. And that's healthy, and we do want that. We want them to actually start to feel hungry at some point in their day. And it will help if they're feeling hungry, that they're going to go then to that plate of food. That hopefully you've been following our strategies, and there's lots of different, even new foods on there, and they are going to be more willing to try it if they're actually feeling hungry and their nervous system is relaxed and they're comfortable and they're feeling safe and they're happy, right? There's all these like things that go into it, so I'm not going to go crazy, but right. So that's the theory there. And right, the limiting the sugary treats, so we can provide alternatives and setting some reasonable and healthy limits, like, okay, you've had enough of that today, or we're all done with that today, but here are some alternative choices, or here's when you can have that item next. So, okay, yes, I know you want ice cream now. I'm telling you, you had it for lunch earlier today by the pool. So the next time that I'm going to offer it is this day or this time or this, whatever. Right. So if you've ever heard of division of responsibility, it's that the parents our job is to provide food, and the child is going to decide how much they eat of it. And we're going to sort of be that person. We're going to offer, and you can say, here are the choices that I'm giving to you right now. Like, I am giving you food, and these are the food options that I am offering. It's their choice whether they want to eat it or not, but you do not have to cater to every demand that they have for food over the summer. So I hope this was helpful. Next week, I am talking actually about positive food routines to implement in the summer that will help hopefully get your kids more excited about food, eating more healthier foods, I should say. And hopefully it'll make going into the school year and into school lunches a lot easier for you. So stay tuned next week for that. And again, of course, if you need any of our support or help, we have a ridiculous amount of awesome resources, blog posts, videos on our website at foodologyfeeding.com. So please be sure to check us out, and we will see you soon.
Thank you for listening to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater. To learn more about achieving your child's feeding goals, check out Christine's website at foodologyfeeding.com. And be sure to tune in next time to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater.